what has the biggest value add been for you or your clients utilizing a remote hybrid workflow in the last 12 months?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, I think over the course of this time, there's been so many interesting challenges, right? Like that have come up. One of them, though, that jumps out to me is just, there's only so much bandwidth going into and out of these facilities, right? And so you've got this limited resource. So the example that jumps out to me is like when and I keep using sports because it's an interesting one, but when they went to those bubble cities where like they had, normally these venues are set up to do kind of one game a day, and all of a sudden the NHL, the NBA were trying to do like 3 or 4 games at the same venue on the same day. And they're trying to get all the pre-recorded content, to the venue and get, the previous games, the game that's just finishing, get all that content off-site, and they've only got a fixed amount of bandwidth. So really, like what came into play there, a big value add that we provided was not only, obviously accelerating the file movement into and out of there, but also giving them very granular control over what bandwidth we were using and what bandwidth was being made available to all these other services that needed to share that big pipe. So that was something that came into play. That's always been a pillar for Signiant, but it really became mission critical in some of these use cases where all of a sudden they were doing things that were kind of unnatural to the location.
You could carve up your pie in a little more QoS-y way.
And have very, very granular control over exactly what was being used and when during the game, before the game, after the game.
Cool. Mike?
I think honestly, one of the biggest things is just access to virtual resources. I think if you look at a lot of the challenges that I've heard at just about every conference I've been to for the last 5 years, it's been finding enough people to do the production, right? Finding the all the operators that you need for the various parts of the production process. And I think what has happened over the last couple of years in the forceful push of people into the whole REMI hybrid model is you've opened up the opportunity now to get access to resources that aren't geographically central, right? That you can actually get access to distributed resources now, and it just makes it much easier now to find people that can operate your cameras, operate your graphics, operate your everything you need to do, right? So I think that piece of it has been a real eye opener for people, and it's one of the reasons why I think we won't go back to where we were 3 years ago, is because it's just too easy now to find the people that you need at the price you need.
Well, it's interesting you say that. So a lot of the reason that we opened a remote facility, and people go, why Green Bay, Wisconsin? And it's like, because it's $50 a square foot in New York, and it's $14 a square foot in Wisconsin.
And you're a huge Packers fan.
Also. But the other reason is this idea that I haven't coined it, but this idea of lifestyle savings that you're getting to, which is like, I did the Paris Air Show for GE like 15 years ago for live stream. And I had a TriCaster inside this little closet that was inside of GE's booth, and I didn't really get to experience anything. It wasn't like, it's like as operators, we just get to live in closets all the time in these beautiful locations that we don't really get to see. So that I do think we're never going back because of that. In the same way that we're never going back to, we're always going to have this hybrid work approach for everyone in some ways, because there is that lifestyle, like, hey, I can be in Wisconsin and have kids and do hunting and fishing, and I don't have to be in New York or Los Angeles to do that.
Right.
It's a really good point.
I'd say a huge value add is the ability to be nimble and just spin up any services that we need at any point. It will cost less money on big how am I trying to say what I want to say? We don't need to spend a lot of money on big systems, big servers, big production suites, when we could really just say, hey, I need another video player, let me just buy that service, or I need another cloud computer today for another vMix instance, just get that up quickly. As I mentioned earlier, getting computers has been a challenge, especially ones as strong as we need. As the industry and our shows that we worked on, everything shift very quickly, we could really design exactly what we need as we need it, and maybe boost up that infrastructure down the line. But as far as nimbleness and being able to just create what we need when we need it, it's been just a godsend.